You know, at the beginning of this speech, I talked about whether you were fired up. I know that over the last couple of months, the economy's been bad, recession's been wearing on folks, people losing their jobs, people losing their health care, people losing their homes in some cases. It's been the usual bickering in Washington. Doesn't seem like that ever stops. Pundits on TV, they're saying how, well, this isn't working and that's not working. You know, you start getting into a funk. And whenever I see folks in that negative place, I always think back to a story I told during the campaign. Some of you have heard it, but I just thought I'd say it again. It's about where the phrase "fired up" comes from. So this is when we were right at the beginning of the campaign for the presidency. Nobody gave us a chance. None of y'all could pronounce my name. And I went down to South Carolina. I went down, I think it was, where was I? I was in Greenville. Am I right? Greenville. And the legislators were having a little banquet, and they had invited me to come down to speak. And I sat next to a state representative. I had nobody supporting me back then, so I had to ask everybody. I said, will you support my campaign for the presidency of the United States? And this state rep looked me up and down, and she said, you know, I will give you my endorsement if you come to my hometown at Greenwood, South Carolina. I had a glass of wine, so I said right away, I said, okay, let's shake on it. Come to find out that Greenwood is about an hour and a half from every place else. So about a month later, I fly in. I've been campaigning for 2 weeks straight, haven't seen my family. I'm exhausted, I'm tired. Get to the hotel room, I'm dragging my bag into my room, about to go to bed. I get a tap on my shoulder. It's my staff member. It says, excuse me, sir. I said, what? They said, you have to be in the car tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning. I said, why? I said, because we got to go to Greenwood like you promised. So the next day, I wake up and I feel worse than when I went to bed. I stagger over the window, open up the blinds. It's pouring down rain outside. Ugly day. I go out, get my newspaper, open it up. There's a bad story about me in the New York Times. I pack up my stuff. I go downstairs. My umbrella breaks, and I get soaked. So that by the time I'm in the car, I'm sleepy, I'm wet, and I'm mad. And we start driving, and we just keep on driving. We're driving. It goes on forever. Hour and a half we're driving. Finally, we get to Greenwood. Although you don't know that you're in Greenwood right away. It's kind of a lot of fields. And we pull up next to a little field house in a park. And I get back out and I get a little more wet and I go inside. And after this hour and a half drive, lo and behold, there are only 20 people inside. And most of them are wet and don't look like they really want to be there either. So, you know, I'm a professional. I go and shake everybody's hands. I've got kind of a tight smile on my face. How do you do? What do you do? Nice to meet you. Suddenly I hear this voice behind me shouting out, "Fired up!" And I'm surprised. I'm scared almost. But everybody else acts like this is normal, and they all say, "Fired up!" Then I hear, "Ready to go!" And people around me, they all say, "Ready to go." I don't know what's going on. I look behind me. There is a little woman. She couldn't be more than 5'2". Watch out, somebody said. You little too. Little lady. She's about 50, 60 years old. She's dressed like she just came from church. Got a big church hat. And she's smiling at me. She looks at me and she says, "Fired up!" Turns out this woman is a city council member from Greenwood who is famous for her chant. Every event she goes to, she likes chanting. She goes, "Fired up, ready to go, ready to go." And she does a little dance while she's doing it. So for the next 5 minutes, it seems like, she just keeps on saying this little chant, fired up, ready to go, ready to go. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, this woman is upstaging me. I don't know what to do. I'm looking at my staff. I'm thinking, when is this thing going to be over? But here's the thing, Ohio. After about a minute or two, I'm starting to feel kind of fired up. I'm starting to feel like I'm ready to go. So I start joining in the chant, and it's making me feel good. And for the rest of the day, whenever we campaigned the whole day, whenever I saw my staff, I said, "Are you fired up?" They say, "I'm fired up, boss. You ready to go?" I say, "I'm ready to go." It just goes to show you how one voice can change a room. And if it can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change a nation. And if it can change a nation, it can change the world. Your voice can change the world. Your voice will get health care passed. Your voice will make sure that the American worker is protected. You can build America. I need your help. Thank you, Cincinnati. Are you fired up? Ready to go?